it was canceled. So what I did, I went to the business support to find out why. And so they said they had it's because there was no coverage. And I don't know if somebody called you, because I said, this is the second appointment that's canceled and she doesn't know why. So somebody was supposed to call you to let you know that you have no coverage and then to get information from you for you to, get coverage. Did someone call you a few minutes ago?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Are they denying me counseling? Sabotaging my counseling?
They cancel you for counseling because the coverage you have for the insurance for here, it's canceled or it's finished or the date is over, and they're supposed to call you to let you know that so that you can
how can it be canceled? Because I've been having a lot of sabotage services with Metrocare. I have barely been getting counseling. I've been asking it for years. What happened with the social worker? It's like Metrocare is sabotaging my mental health needs.
But you've been getting counseling with me for whatever little time.
How many times? We only had 2 or 3 sessions.
Maybe 3 or 4. I didn't count, but
yeah,
I've noted.
I've been asking for counseling for years, and I have 4 or 5 times counseling sessions for a person that has multiple false arrests. And getting harassed and sabotage services everywhere she goes. But what happened to the social worker? I record my calls.
Hold on a second. Oh, you do record your calls?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Hold on. So you probably spoke with Adrianne Goodwin?
She's denying services. I want a social worker for the domestic violence, and it's like a lot of the Metrocare staff are covering for it. They don't want me to speak with us.
I don't know about domestic violence.
Well, you were supposed to be speaking. You said you were going to be referring it to a social worker that would assist. Are they trying to prevent me from getting assistance with the domestic violence? Isn't that what social workers help with?
Prevent you from getting domestic violence.
Oh, well, she already stated, that she wasn't going to give it to me, and now they're canceling the counseling services. It's like they punished me for my abuser. Like when they got me put out of Dallas Life, and then I got put out of the boarding home. Then the unusual things that went on when we went to CPS. And no social worker that I've had will help me with the domestic abuse, but I know other people that get assistance from their social workers. They were sabotaging services for me. So that's why I asked you to get someone that would not try to sabotage my services and assist.
Well, I don't know, because what I have to do is to refer the request to the manager, and then they feel that, that person, Adrianne Goodwin, was the person to help you out.
She won't help me. She's not helping me. Trying to communicate. She will not help me with DV, period. And none of the ACT team will help me with domestic violence, period. And the corruption. It's like they're covering for it. She said she's not going to do it. And I saw a brochure when they had me on the false pretenses at Parkland Hospital. I said I wanted therapy, which they've been denying me for a long time, and then now the therapy's canceled now. But it was canceled for me a long time. They wouldn't assist me with therapy. But anyway, moving forward, so Adrianne is denying the assistance for domestic violence and to place me with organization that will assist me. She's denying that and support for the. So she's not someone that can assist. She already said that.
The one that can assist.
No, she said she wasn't going to do it. Along with all the other caseworkers on the ACT team. Carrie's not going to do it. The director. They refuse to assist me with the corruption and stalking and any advocacy or assistance with that. They don't want to talk about it. And it's like when my abuser's mad, I get punished. Like the counseling all of a sudden canceled now. I got put out of Dallas Life when he was mad. I got put out of the boarding home. Counseling service has been sabotaged. And now that I finally only got a couple of sessions, it's canceled again.
Mm-hmm. Well, the reason why it was canceled, as I said, was because of your finances that has to be updated. So they're supposed to call you or maybe have left you a message regarding that.
So wouldn't they have let me know
so,
that before it canceled?
well, I don't know, but they should have called you. And you're not the only person that they didn't call. So I have several people, that were not called but that were canceled. So they are going to call you. They should have called you already. Another thing I have to tell you, on the 23rd of this month will be my last day here.
Yeah, so that's another thing.
Metrocare.
That's another thing. The therapist before he had to stop the counseling because it was his last day. So the counseling had been getting sabotaged. They won't give me anyone in DV. Each counselor they give me is quitting. So it's like the mental health needs are being sabotaged from Metrocare. They are sabotaging my counseling. The whole objective when I was in Parkland Hospital on the false pretenses was for me to get counseling, which is being sabotaged. Ma'am, I thank you for letting me record the call. I just want enough evidence for this to end. Because I have to do what I have to do because people would never believe what I would go through. So the social worker you reached out to won't help me. They're forcing me to use Adrianne, which is denying services.
Well, I don't think that, it is.
I'm just trying to, I'm pressed for time. I just want to make sure. So the social worker, the other social worker I requested because they pretend like they can't help with domestic violence. Everyone in the ACT team, even the director, will not help and assist in any kind of way. It's like they're covering for it. So I asked you to venture out to give me a social worker that would help with the domestic violence and give me support and resources. And you're saying that they told you to use Adrianne?
Well, no. All I do is I refer your name to management, and then they look at your case, and then they get the caseworker whom they feel that would be best for you.
Right, but I told you that they were denying services in our advocacy for domestic violence. They were covering for it. It's like they were covering for it. They will not assist me with it, period. So I wanted a social worker that wasn't going to cover for the crimes and sabotage my services and give me assistance because they won't. They won't help me with it, and they're supposed to. They won't report any of the things to APS. They won't report the corruption to CPS. And I thought they had obligations. You said you wouldn't do it either. I thought that there were ethical obligations if you heard about corruption.
No, we don't. You have to report it.
I've reported it, and people keep covering for it, so I can't move forward. But, ma'am, this has been going on a long time. You said you reached out to a social worker, and the social worker that you emailed or contacted, they're telling you it's Adrianne?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, she's denying services. She won't help with the stalking, the corruption, or reporting the corruption to CPS. She won't do it.
Yeah, because it is something that you have to do.
Do you know what a social worker is? You know what a social worker does?
Well, maybe I don't really know, but the whole thing is that if you are having a problem with that and they are stalking you, you should be reporting it to CPS or to, wherever that you have to.
Yeah, but social workers are supposed to help you and advocate and help you with the services and resources that aren't corrupt, not sabotage them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if I can say this. Well, I don't know. I can't answer for anybody. But the only thing I know for me is that on the 23rd, it's going to be my last day here. On the 17th, we have another appointment. That would be our last appointment.
Yes, that happened with the last counselor that counseled me like 2 times. But they won't give me anyone that will help with the domestic violence, the trauma of my experience. Remember, I said I wanted a therapist in DV?
Well, we don't have a therapist in domestic violence.
Oh, you don't have a... Oh, you don't?
No, for strictly domestic violence, we don't have that now.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought that maybe I
And
can get referrals to an organization that could do the counseling. Maybe a social worker could get me into an organization that does have counseling for domestic violence. Since my life is I'm railroaded and sabotaged from services. I can't do it on my own.
maybe, yeah, then maybe you could speak with Miss Adriana and then see.
No,
if
she's
she
sabotaging services,
has
ma'am.
any.
She's sabotaging services. She will not get me with anyone that will help with that. It can't be her.
I'm
Everyone
sorry, I
from the
don't
X
know.
team, everyone from the X team is denying any assistance from the stalking and doing social work for helping me with programs and placing me in programs for my daughter and all of that. They will not assist.
Oh.
So I need a social
Well,
worker
I'm
that's
sorry,
not
I don't know
corrupt.
what to
I need a
tell
social
you.
worker that's
I
not
mean,
corrupt that will give me services because they won't. Not in that area. They're covering for it. To me, it's like they're covering for it because they won't give me the services.
well, I don't know because I don't know any. I don't know. I was not trained in domestic violence, so I can only do my what I was trained in, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, which is what we've been doing.
Well, you
And
said
that's
you
all I
referred it
can
to a
do.
social worker, and I told you that Adrian wasn't giving me the resources or giving me the assistance and the programs and, the adequate services. So you were supposed to be finding one that would give me services for the domestic abuse that has information on what to do with stalking and all of that because I get services sabotaged across the board with multiple different organizations and agencies.
I don't know, ma'am.
Yeah, it's been going on
Yeah,
years, ma'am.
I really
It's
don't
been
know.
going on years. I should be, I shouldn't, I just can't, I used to panic. But it's been going on years. I should be used to it by now. Okay, well, I guess I'm on punishment, the counseling. So they're saying that it's financial, something happened in financial, and now the little counseling sessions that I did have is stopping now. Because something miraculously happened with the finance. They forgot to call me, and the therapy I wasn't barely
Well,
getting anyway is now canceled. Okay.
this one is canceled, and the last one that we have is on the 17th.
Yeah, that happened with
So,
the last counselor, ma'am.
hopefully,
They keep hooking me up with
yeah.
these counselors that quit, so I don't get counseling. So I don't understand why the therapists they give me only give me a couple of sessions, and then our vacation weeks, and I'm not getting counseling. I told Parkland Hospital I needed a therapist when I was there on those false pretenses. And they have been sabotaging Metrocare has been sabotaging my mental health needs. They will not give me counseling, not proper counseling, and other multiple other services. But this goes on across the board. So okay, no, now the little counseling I was getting is stopped. Okay.
It didn't stop. It's just that if you could maybe even give them a call and let them know that I said it's because of your because of your coverage is you have no coverage.
Yeah, I didn't have when they stopped paying the boarding home. That funding stopped. When they went to Dallas Life and slandered me, that when they were helping then. When they go to CPS and help, and it's a fiasco there, they were helping there. They're helping with DV, but aren't doing anything, ma'am. I know. They're social workers, but can't help. The director can't help. No one can report anything. Okay. Okay, ma'am.
So
It's been going on years.
okay, but I will, once they call you, please give them a call back for your coverages, and then we will reconnect on the 17th.
Well, if they call me, ma'am, it's like so many schemes. I don't know what's going on now for the little counseling. We barely had sessions, and the other man that was doing the counseling, 3 counselors quit. So I don't think it's like that they don't want to have, it's like whenever I'm asking for advocacy and help with the corruption, the counselors quit. Like they don't want to be involved. So they do 1 or 2 sessions and I tell them about the corruption and abuse because that's what I'm getting therapy for. And so I asked them about resources and report the corruption, and then each one quit, like they don't want to be involved. I had 3
Well, I don't
therapists.
think they quit because of you, but
Well, here's the suspicious thing. I've had the first therapist. They told him that he couldn't talk to me on the phone anymore because they didn't want me recording my calls. I mean, recording the therapy. So so he said that we couldn't do it over the phone, and I wasn't recording it anyway. But they said that I had to come into the office. So I came into the office, and then the other therapist demanded that I put my phone on the desk so I wouldn't record. Then I told him about the corruption, which is what he was trying to disregard, and that's what I was wanting to talk about because that's what is traumatizing. So then when I demanded answers and wanted to talk about my corruption, then he shortly after that quit. But if I'm getting counseling on trauma, I would want to talk about what's traumatizing me. And to forbid me from speaking about it in therapy is why I wanted to get a domestic violence counselor who I can vent these things to. And a lot of these counselors were deterring me from talking about my experience.
well, as I said, we don't have a specific person just for domestic violence here.
Right, but I mean, I was wanting a social worker that wouldn't sabotage me getting out of the abuse and reporting it, and that would go to the police department and maybe to the FBI with me because I have multiple false arrests and I get harassed. I went to the FBI and got handcuffed, and then they went through all my paperwork. So I don't want a social worker that goes in and then when I get names interrupted and then to try to frame me by saying I'm trying, and I haven't done anything wrong, but ask someone for their name and information on my case. I don't want a social worker that tries to sabotage evidence and not want me to get the person that's mistreating me name and supervisor. And that's what they're forcing me to have, someone that don't want me getting police information, their badge number and names, and the name of the people that are violating me. That's not going to be a very good social worker or advocate to have with you if they're almost covering for the situation. So Adrianne is not going to be a good fit to give for to a real social worker. So for whatever reason, Metrocare is denying me the assistance or in sabotaging my services. I wish someone get to the bottom line of it. Because the whole reason why I wanted to use Metrocare is for counseling, and that has been sabotaged, and multiple other resources. Okay, ma'am.
I don't know. Okay.
Okay,
so
thank you.
I will please, call them about your coverage, and they're gonna call you too, so we can speak next week.
Okay. Hopefully they'll get it resolved.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.